Once again, I have no clue who these people are.
A lone backpacker set up camp near Hermitage Ruins along Ontario's Bruce Trail, arriving before sunset and pitching her tent beside a stone wall to block wind.
Okay, I'm just in my tent now. When I was setting up, a couple of times I saw lights in the woods, and one time it looked like it was coming right at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just got busted. I don't know if it's hikers or if it is the park authorities doing rounds. Either way, they didn't come here to the ruins. They just walked through the path. But you know how it is at night, the light just really goes far. It is definitely getting cold. There is a chill in the air, not just temperature, if you know what I mean.
While preparing campsite, she noticed lights drifting between the trees, with one seeming to move toward her before veering away, leaving her unsure whether they were hikers or park staff on patrol. As darkness settled in, the wind grew stronger and the temperature dropped, building tension. From inside the tent, she heard sounds outside that initially resembled rustling leaves or rain, but continued nearby.
I don't know if those are leaves falling or if it's starting to rain. It is definitely a little bit creepy. Like, I'm not scared, but I'm definitely alert. It is 10 p.m. I think it's about time I try to get some sleep. Keep hearing noises outside of the tent. It's pretty close to Halloween, and this is a pretty famous haunted ruin, so I think a lot of people will come here at night to see if they get to see the ghost of William Black.
Keeping her alert. With Halloween approaching, and the ruins linked to stories tied to William Black, the surroundings felt even more disturbing. Eventually, the noises changed into what clearly sounded like footsteps beside the tent.
What the was that?
At dawn, she packed up quickly and left, never learning what caused the movement in the darkness. Motivated by curiosity, he moved closer to a narrow cave entrance and stepped inside, not realizing the nature of the place. Seconds later, the moment became tense when he understood he had entered a bear's space. Remaining calm was essential, as his steady behavior stopped the animal from responding aggressively. Though he managed to leave without injury, the encounter underscored how dangerous such situations can be and why caution matters in unfamiliar environments. In the end, he walked away safely, likely carrying a lasting lesson about respecting wildlife and the hidden dangers of the wilderness. On February 26, 2024, a video posted by Welcome to the Woods UK documented the aftermath of a project intended to create calm rather than fear. The creator had been constructing a small cabin deep in the forest, a simple shelter built from pallets and boards. When he returned one night, he discovered it completely destroyed, ripped apart, flipped over, and strangely turned back toward the trees. The damage seemed intentional, and the woods no longer felt inviting.
What the hell has happened here? Oh my god. God almighty. Don't know what is going on here. This woodland just gets stranger and stranger. But the gutting thing is I was hoping to show you lot that cabin built from start to finish. It was just going to be a little cabin. Might as well show you it now. It's wrecked.
Previous visits had already sparked concern, with unexplained sounds at night and trail cameras capturing a shadowy figure silently emerging from the forest. At first, the movement appeared unnatural.
I found something a bit more shocking, and I was very, very tired. So I've checked him again in the van again today, and it's exactly as what I see yesterday. So it weren't sleep deprivation. There's a figure at night time that's in the right hand side of I believe it's camera 6. Starts off, comes out of the woodland, and then all of a sudden it seems to trigger the camera again and then come back out. That again happens about a week later on camera 4, but this time it's daytime and it's a bit more explainable. I mean, it looks to me like someone's in there poaching for the deer perhaps, or doing a bit of wildlife photography, but whoever it is shouldn't be there. They haven't got permission to be there. It's only me. I've phoned the landowner Chris. He swears blind that no one else should be in there. It's quite secure as well. I've never seen anyone in the 2 years that I know in there, even on any of the trail cams. Now, trail cam 1 didn't do very well. It's definitely, again, if it's not the same person, it is a person. They're dressed up in some sort of camouflage or poncho. I mean, it looks like they've got a big beard. I think it's a man, to be honest with you.
Though daylight footage later suggested it may have been a person trespassing, possibly poaching or photographing wildlife, even though the landowner confirmed no one else had permission to be there.
It's got darker a lot quicker than what I thought it would, and it's drawn in pitch black, inky black.
When he returned again after dark, with rain falling and visibility nearly zero, he heard sharp cracking sounds nearby, like wood being split, as if someone were chopping with an axe.
That is where cabin number 2 is, or was, should I say. You should all remember, it should be put together by now. I was proper agitated that someone's done this to that. I don't know if you can hear it. I didn't see anything, but I could hear like wood splitting, like as in like someone chopping wood, like with an axe or something. I'm not entirely sure what that would have been. That was it.
Disturbed, he set up alarms and cameras around his camp.
There's us. So this is the little gadget I'm going to be using tonight to let me know if there's anyone about after dark. It's basically a gate alarm that farmers use. It's a 1-inch cartridge, 12 bore, non-lethal. There's no way it can hurt anyone unless you actually put your face to it, which in that case there's a little plate that covers it over. I'm going to strap that to a tree and then run a trip line all the way around the immediate vicinity of my camp at about waist height. That pin gets pulled from there because of the trip line being activated. This will let a charge off and it will hopefully either scare away whatever it is that's creeping about, and it will wake me up.
But throughout the night, footsteps and heavy bangs echoed from the surrounding woods, never close enough to see, yet close enough to feel watched.
I've not got a clue what that noise was. There's about 8 different noises, sound like someone was walking around about 40 yards away. I had no bang off of the alarm, but definitely a banging in the wood. Don't know what the audio is going to come up like on there, but
By morning, the forest that once symbolized adventure had become a place of unease, leaving him with the realization that even experienced campers can feel powerless when faced with something unknown moving just beyond the tree line. The Junkyard Fox is a channel centered on crafting, survival techniques, and outdoor living, typically showcasing quiet camping trips in handmade shelters. But one video took a disturbing turn.
out here in beautiful West Texas, my usual stomping grounds, because I'm gonna be spending the night in my primitive shelter. Okay folks, so here is my camp. As you can tell, there's been a lot of winds. That's something a lot of people don't realize, but out in the open desert, I mean, we get some 30-mile-an-hour winds sometimes. And of course, you know, the shelter is gonna need to constantly be updated and, you know, renovated, right? Like any home. And yeah, luckily, at first when I got here, I was sweating buckets, but look, check it out. It's starting to get nice and gloomy, so we may see a little bit of rain later. That'd be nice. But yeah, so as you can tell, the winds have come. They've knocked this side off, so I need to work on that. If you guys remember, I had a Motley Crue poster that I put here when I stayed here last time, and I can see it over there. And I can actually see a lizard. I don't know if you guys can see that, but right behind the Motley Crue poster, there's like a little lizard just hanging out. That's really cool.
While camping alone in his familiar West Texas desert environment, he recorded strong winds damaging parts of his primitive shelter as he made repairs and prepared for the night. Conditions appeared manageable, with mild temperatures and only light weather expected, and he eventually settled down to sleep. Several hours later, everything changed when loud music and a nearby truck abruptly woke him. Shortly after, he discovered his truck's windows had been shot by unknown individuals who had driven through the area. Shaken and disoriented, he realized the situation was no longer safe and chose to end the trip immediately.
So it's time to call it a night. Like I said, today, I'm not really hanging out in terms of, having some beers around the fire or nothing like that. It's more of a test of, being out here and stuff. And I foresee today being nicer anyway, an easier night, because forecast looks like the night's gonna drop to the, early 60s, late 50s at most. So it's really nothing too bad. In case of anything, I do have my jacket here, and then I do also have my shamag down here, and I apologize for the crappy lighting. So in case of anything, I could just wrap that around my face or whatever. And that's about it. So in the morning, I'll wake up and I'll make some coffee, and that's about it for me. So have a good night, everyone. Okay, folks, so change of plans. I was asleep for 2 hours, then I woke up to a truck driving nearby, and they shot my truck. They legitimately shot the windows on my truck. People I don't know. This is crazy. Look, these are my windows. This is insane. Once again, I have no clue who these people are. Just drunks. I could hear the loud music. That's what woke me up. And sure enough, so I'm guessing this trip is over. Oh man, what a mess.
Although he escaped without physical injury, the incident exposed how unpredictable and dangerous solo camping can become, especially in remote locations, raising questions about whether isolation truly offers peace or simply leaves you more vulnerable to unseen human threats. In September 2023, a wildlife biologist posted a shocking moment on his YouTube channel following an unexpected incident during a remote swamp trip.
All right, so honest gear review time. I'm out here in a place like this in a remote swamp where the thunder's cracking off and there's alligators cruising around. There's a couple things that I absolutely cannot live without. One of those is a GPS. Doesn't matter where you go in the world, you should always have a GPS. Carry a big, bulky, handheld one. I got hit. I felt it, yeah. I got hit. That hurt. Yeah, it just hurt. Shit, really? Yeah.
While recording a gear review in severe weather with thunder overhead and alligators nearby, a lightning strike hit the water close enough to send a strong electrical shock through his body. The jolt briefly left his legs numb, forcing him to pause and regain feeling before moving to a safer location. Though shaken by how close the strike came, he was fortunate it did not hit him directly, underscoring how quickly routine outdoor activities can become dangerous when nature turns unpredictable. On September 23rd, 2025, the creator of the Dog Daddy YouTube channel went through a troubling encounter that began as an ordinary day on his property.
Sorry, what'd you just say?
I heard you had these beautiful black German Shepherds here, so I came down to say hi.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Is it okay if I come in? Just for a quick second.
Oh, no, we don't really allow visitors in.
I came a long way just to...
How do you even know they were here?
Nobody told me. This is where you
How did you get here?
I walked from all the way down the road. Someone dropped me off.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Okay, we don't really allow visitors. We just moved in, and you know, these dogs, they're out here with me now. They're friendly, but we have some rescue dogs and even protection dogs and behind the other gate over there. So you know, we don't really have a open door policy.
Really great with dogs. Is it okay if I meet them? You'll see. I'll show you.
No, if these guys, they're out, if they want to come say hi at the gate, it's okay. But we don't really have any visitors on the property.
I mean, this is like the only.
No, don't open the gate. Like I said, the dogs in the back, they are not as friendly as the ones that are out here, so please don't open the gate.
Show you. It's just gonna be a quick second.
No, not today. Maybe another time, but we're not allowing visitors. And I don't even know how he got here.
I told you I came down the road. Listen,
Can you just let go of the gate?
I thought you were nice. I just wanted to say hi to your dog.
No, we are nice. We just don't allow visitors on the property.
An unfamiliar woman appeared without warning, saying she had heard about his dogs and wanted to see them, claiming she had walked a long distance just to visit. Even after being clearly and repeatedly told that visitors were not allowed, especially because of rescue and protection dogs, she refused to leave right away, becoming increasingly agitated before finally going away. What first seemed like an uncomfortable but harmless exchange took a darker turn later that night when the same woman returned after midnight, once again entering the property and saying she was there to bless him and his dogs.
Listen, you need to leave now. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna let them out. It's midnight. What are you doing here? Leave now. It's midnight. We're not playing any more games. You are agitating my dogs. I told you late at night my guard dogs are out, and they're out. I'm not gonna be babysitting. You broke into the property at 3 in the morning. They're gonna come out. You need to leave now. You need to leave now. I'm letting them out. Don't come any closer. I'm gonna let them out. I'm gonna let them out. They're here and they're waiting.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna leave. The police has been looking for 4 days now. There's no one around. This is my place. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know where you're coming from.
I just came to bless you.
I'm letting my dogs out.
Don't do that.
She disappeared. What the hell?
Her presence at that hour, along with her continued refusal to leave despite warnings about guard dogs and safety, escalated the situation to the point that police were eventually called and intervened. Although no one was injured, the repeated visits raised serious concerns, leaving one clear question. When a stranger ignores boundaries and keeps returning, where does coincidence stop and real danger begin? In January 2025, a UK-based creator named James posted a tense and unsettling video titled "Scary Van Life, Park Up Caught on Camera" on his channel, By the Curb. Known for documenting solo travel and outdoor adventures, James frequently shares moments from road trips around the UK while living and sleeping in his camper van. In this video, he set off alone towards Sunderland, a city in northeast England. After spending the day driving, James arrived and parked his van near a roadside spot, planning to rest there overnight. At first, everything felt quiet and uneventful. That sense of calm, however, didn't last long.
On the front, he's following the pit. He's following, he's not following. He's a pitman, and I'm the back. He's not working no one. I'm not at the third door. I'm not the private rig. I'm not a first, he's the English footballer. I'm not a reefer, do you know what I mean? You can see when you put on the dead people who you're supposed to look. Punch that, I haven't really heard before. There's no new modern technology. There's no stuff like this on there. You're a cameraman.
Sometime after falling asleep, James was suddenly awakened by strange noises outside the van. When he looked out, he was alarmed to see a man standing close by, yelling incoherently and staring straight at the vehicle. The man's words were hard to understand, but his behavior was aggressive and unpredictable.
Still there, look. It's coming back.
For nearly 10 minutes, he continued shouting and banging on the van's window, showing no intention of leaving. Alone and without protection, James weighed whether to confront the stranger or stay inside. Aware of the risk that the man could be armed or unstable, he chose to remain inside, hoping the situation would de-escalate. At one point, the man appeared to walk away, only to return shortly after and resume his outburst. James stayed silent, avoided provoking him, and kept the van locked. Eventually, the stranger wandered off and did not come back. The man's true motives are unknown, but his actions suggested possible intoxication or mental instability. The aggressive knocking and rambling could have been an attempt to draw James outside or simply to intimidate him. Solo van travelers are especially exposed at isolated park-up spots, and situations like this can quickly become dangerous. James's decision to stay inside likely kept things from escalating. Was this just a chance encounter with someone under the influence? Or did the man have darker intentions toward whoever was inside the van? One thing is certain. For those traveling alone, safety often depends on making the right choice in a matter of seconds. In July 2024, a creator named Darina published a chilling video titled "Scary Place in the Haunted Pine Barrens" on her channel, The Walking Cam. Known for documenting urban exploration, Darina regularly records her visits to abandoned, forgotten, or reportedly haunted locations throughout the United States. In this video, she ventures deep into the Pine Barrens of New Jersey to explore what remains of the abandoned Silica Sand Company. For context, the Pine Barrens covers more than 1.1 million acres, making up nearly 22% of the state's total land area. While the region is popular with hikers and campers, it also carries a long-standing reputation for secrecy and danger. Its dense, isolated forests have historically been linked to illegal activity and have provided concealment for criminal operations over the years. Despite this reputation, Darina chose to explore the location on her own. After traveling far into the wooded area, she eventually arrived at the crumbling remains of the former industrial site. The surroundings were heavily deteriorated, with corroded machinery, partially collapsed buildings, and unusual graffiti covering the remaining structures. After documenting the ruins, Darina decided to move even deeper into the forest. That decision marked a sudden shift in the tone of the exploration. She soon encountered a cluster of trees, each covered with missing person flyers. The overwhelming number of posters, combined with their placement in such a remote location, immediately felt alarming. Finding them so far from populated areas suggested something far more disturbing than random vandalism. Considering the Pine Barrens' history of illicit activity, several unsettling explanations come to mind. The posters may have been placed deliberately to intimidate or mock authorities. Another disturbing possibility is that they were left by someone attempting to mislead, taunt, or establish a pattern of behavior. In some cases, offenders are known to leave behind disturbing symbols or items as a form of psychological manipulation. While there is no confirmed explanation for what Darina discovered, the implications remain deeply unsettling. Was this simply an elaborate attempt to frighten explorers? Or did Darina unknowingly cross paths with something far darker? Something that may still be unfolding within the shadows of the Pine Barrens? In October 2023, a UK-based YouTuber named Mike uploaded an unsettling video to his channel, Novice Wild Camper, titled "The Woods I Will Never Camp In Again." Mike's content centers on wild camping throughout the UK, where he documents solo trips and the realities, both good and bad, of spending nights outdoors. In this video, Mike embarked on a solo overnight trip to an undisclosed forested area somewhere in the UK. After hiking well into the woods, he selected a spot to pitch his camp, expecting a peaceful night surrounded by nature. While surveying the area, he noticed several unusual footprints along the trail, but assumed they belonged to a dog walker and continued without giving them much thought. Once camp was set up, Mike showed his audience the equipment he had brought and mentioned hearing unfamiliar sounds nearby. At first, he brushed them off, believing they were likely caused by small animals moving through the area. As darkness settled in, he ate dinner and eventually went to sleep.
And I jumped up, unzipped it, put my torch on, and there's a rock on the floor that wasn't there when I went to bed. And I lay back down, and I'm just laying there listening. Then another one. Then another one. This went on 3 or 4 times at least. And then a large branch. There was no crack. There wasn't like a crack and then a crash. Just a large branch hit my tarp. It bounced the tarp down onto the hammock and then bounced off the tent. And every time I jumped up and got out, there was no movement, there was no nothing. Now, I don't know what.
Around 3 a.m., however, the situation changed. Mike was suddenly jolted awake by the sound of rocks striking the side of his tent. Alarmed, he listened as the noises became louder and appeared to move closer to where he was resting. Each time he exited the tent to check his surroundings, everything went quiet. But as soon as he lay back down, the disturbances resumed. One rock landed unexpectedly beside his hammock, followed by a heavy thud from a falling branch nearby.
A bit like when you first start camping, everything sounds a bit weird, and woodland I think is worse than any other place you can camp, because you hear, well obviously it's full of creatures and animals running around, and twigs on the floor, so you hear everything snapping and cracking and breaking. But you get used to it after a while, and you just get to enjoy it. But this was not enjoyable, not in the slightest. I've never actually had shivers run up my spine. this doesn't land coming down. It bounces towards me. It hit the floor and was still rolling towards me.
This pattern continued. Silence during inspections, then renewed activity once he was alone again. Deeply unsettled, Mike eventually abandoned the tent and retreated to his car, where he waited until morning. At first light, he cautiously returned to the campsite, only for the strange activity to resume.
He went, "You're brave." I said, "Why is that then?" He went, "People have done it before, no one's lasted." I said, "What do you mean?" And he just laughed and he went, "You know what I mean." I walked off. I'm like, yeah, this is just doubled my thoughts of never coming back to this place again. I won't pinpoint where it is. I don't think anyone will probably find it, not anyone local enough around here that will know about it anyway. But yeah, I won't pinpoint it to say avoid this place, but I'm never going to come back here again, which is such a...
Trees shifted with no visible cause, and another object struck the ground near his shelter. While packing up, a heavier object landed, bounced, and rolled toward him, prompting him to leave immediately. As he walked back toward his vehicle, another unsettling moment occurred. Near the edge of the woods, Mike encountered a man walking along the quiet road bordering the forest. The stranger appeared aware that Mike had been camping nearby and made a remark suggesting that people rarely lasted the night there, hinting at past deaths in the area. When Mike sought clarification, the man laughed and continued on without offering any explanation. The unexplained noises and falling objects could point to wildlife, but the repeated timing and apparent targeting make that explanation difficult to fully accept. The stranger's cryptic comment only adds another layer of unease. Whether he was issuing a warning or had some connection to the events is impossible to determine. Was Mike subjected to a deliberate prank? Did he unknowingly camp near someone concealed in the woods? Or was the experience something far darker, perhaps even paranormal? With the location kept secret and no clear answers, the truth behind that night remains a mystery. That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.